41, 15, that's 56, 55. That's 101. No, wait, it's 111. Because you gotta carry the 1. I guess that means I have to make another video, doesn't it? I'd appreciate more of these, but I can live with that. Hello everyone. Welcome. So this video is going to be more of a stream of consciousness than anything else. Fair warning. I have made a script. It's 9.5 pages long, so this one might also be a bit of a doozy. But YouTube, I gotta put on my big girl bra. YouTube has changed the gaming spheres in ways that are both a blessing and a curse for developers and publishers alike. You don't even have to search for other channels to know this. For instance, my first review ever was of Prospect, spelled Prospekt. Prospect. Oh boy. This was a day. God, I remember. I need to get my hair done. I remember when my hair looked that nice. 109.58. 140. Very first review I ever did. Where I got the game before it came out. Very first time I ever got a game before it came out. Very first review I ever did. And I honestly felt like if I didn't tear it apart, I would be doing you a disservice. Well, I tore it in half. I tore the developer apart for not listening to my request to delay the publication of the game and fix the issues I listed, which I mentioned all of these issues in my review, and the Half-Life fanboys hated me for it. The game has currently received a 58% on Steam's user reviews, but the positive reviews are recent. Before that, back in December, the game had only received a 40% positive review. But then it got an update in December. It took nearly 2 years for the developer to fix his game. And I admit, my review destroyed his game. He has actually publicly stated he hates me. He has stated he hates me. But I want to point out his new game, Gunsmith, is actually good. Like, I want to do a review of it because I've seen some gameplay of it. I want to get my hands on it. It's actually good. But I know he watched my review. I saw the damage it did to everything he was trying to do with Prospect. And because that review came out first and was the only review for Prospect on YouTube for 6 days, I called it the paid mod for Half-Life. I know he will never give me a game key, but I want to believe that my review taught him some lessons and have the belief that because of those lessons he's now made a good game and it's coming together rather well. And I want to say that if that's the case, it was worth doing. Whereas games like Obsidian's Armored Warfare have benefited because of me. And even to this day, despite actions of MyCom, several of you still play it, and 2 of you, I know, continue to stream the game. That's just on my channel. Games like Five Nights at Freddy's and Undertale would not exist without the YouTube personalities like Markiplier and many, many, many others who played them and made them popular. The fact is that the rampant streaming, video content creation, and cultivating a community around these personalities results in games being sold or games being panned. Information on a game is no longer just displayed by review websites. There is a concerted movement and impression that gaming websites are apologists or just not telling the truth about a game. We consider a 50% a bad game, whereas a website like PC Gamer considers 70% bad. But when I went to school, 70% was a C grade and you got a pass. And it still is, by the way, just for clarification. Hence why so many games that YouTube and the personalities around it would tell you not to buy. Considering we have to reveal if we received a game for free or if it's a paid promotion, and the gaming websites like PC Gamer and... my brain just blanked there for a minute. PC Gamer and IGN don't. They don't have to show you everything that the game publishers and developers are giving them. That idea creates this sense that if someone like me doesn't say we received the product for free or this is a paid promotion, we are telling our honest opinion without any chance of repercussions from a developer or a publisher. The curse part has come from pre-order releases, stream keys, game betas, and so on. If you release a game to one of the personalities and it's bad, people will know about it before the game releases. Mishandling or mismanagement of these streamers can also have massive pushback as well. An example is Armored Warfare showing favoritism to certain players because they were influential Reddit users, and allowing the players to get away with things like team killing, YouTube personality bashing, and other attacks against people just because they don't like them. And then myself choosing to use that as one of the reasons for leaving the game, resulting in a drop-off of 150 players from that game in a week. I'm a small channel. If I can leave a game and 150 plus people have told me they left the game because I did, imagine what somebody like Jingles announcing he's not going to make any more Armored Warfare content. Oh, he did that. Does to the game like Armored Warfare. Whereas if you treat these personalities far too nicely, such as Bethesda's Influencers event, which had huge backlash with regular customers that did not get the same treatment, the whole canvas nylon bag issue. Influencer has, by the way, has become a terrible term and reduces people like me to a marketing piece rather than a unique person with a variety of individuals that have formed a community around me. Influencer is a misleading term, and it's intentionally misleading because game companies need a way to identify us as being in their corner. So, personalities, influencer, this is why the term influencer is why I receive game keys for things I don't have any actual interest or my community doesn't either, and I have no reason to stream, review, or even look at. You simply look at what influencers stream as the tags for your game and spam out the keys for them. This has resulted in very little feedback for your game, and very little people actually use those keys for your game. I have hundreds of keys from Keymailer. Hundreds of them. I have dozens upon dozens of keys in my email box. Right now, I've got, I want to say, 300 keys on Keymailer I haven't used. My audience wouldn't be interested in any of these things. Why would I bother doing it? 307 keys. Yeah. Why would I bother doing it? This requires a very delicate hand to be applied. Those not willing to apply that very delicate hand result in the wrath of the internet, and therefore their sales numbers drop. Activision Blizzard, for instance, releasing Black Ops 4 without microtransactions, waiting 3 weeks for all the reviews to go up, and then putting them in, are now receiving tons of ridicule and assaults from YouTubers instead of including taking down and redoing their reviews post-launch. This is mismanagement and attempts at manipulating our opinions to attempt to make it look like reviewers are endorsing said microtransactions. Now, let me give some positive examples of what can happen when you manage Twitch and YouTube personalities properly. Obsidian Entertainment saw the work I did for them concerning Armored Warfare. I was there from the beginning when Obsidian left and when Mycom started treating me extra shittily, because Obsidian was going out of their way to try to shield me from Mycom's golden children. I'm not going to mention them by name, there's no sense in that. But there were several people who were deliberately causing me grief, and Obsidian would go out of their way to try to get Mycom to do something about it. But I left with them and I told their developer story. I made sure that got put on the front lines. I made sure that got put on Reddit. I made sure that got put... Matter of fact, my version of that story ended up in IGN. I didn't get paid for that, but I'm okay with that. These developers I've established a relationship with and continued lines of communication post-Armored Warfare. This has meant that I streamed Tyranny and Pillars of Eternity, 2 games they gave me keys for. I gave them reviews, honest reviews, that then resulted in game patches to fix my errors. I then re-reviewed the games. And they're both good games. My streaming Tyranny and the review thereof show 11 people on my Steam list who are all subscribers to my channel who currently own Tyranny. Pillars of Eternity Deadfire has 2, but that's because I only streamed it for 2 days and I only gave the review, and by then I'd kind of moved on. But I'll give you a very good example. I streamed Rebel Galaxy for 1 day. I haven't reviewed the game, I haven't done any video content of it, I just streamed it for 1 day. And the number of people who were my friends who went from owning the game went from 0 to 20. 1 day. So what happened? Well, I gave these games positive marks because of my efforts of streaming them, showing people I'm having a good time with the game, showing my raw reactions to what was going on in game, answering questions about it, giving them positive coverage because they were good games. They still are good games. Has resulted in people joining said game. Right now on my Discord server, I have 15 members who are Mech Warriors for Mech Warrior Online. I've only been streaming the game for 2 weeks. Already, the unit I joined, GNXR, has received 3 new recruits. All of them my subscribers. My fiance and 2 others have joined GNXR already, or are in the process of doing so. This is an increase in game sales, publicity, general health of the fan bases and communities around these games. Why? Because someone relatable to the people who watch that person have endorsed said games. I have shown to have a good time streaming them as well as continue to do so. Mech Warrior Online, with the changes the game has undergone in the last 2 years, may become my new Armored Warfare World of Tanks or XCOM for the frequency it shows up on my channel in addition to the science and analysis videos you all see here. Communities formed around personalities like this are almost cult-like. I often have to reel mine in and remind them I don't want an echo chamber. I want you to ask questions. I'll contradict and keep me in check. If I have to remake a video, I have to remake a video. It's fine, but I would rather you and I have it out in the comments section and you still be here tomorrow than not. But I understand that, like any personality, I have an ego. That ego needs humbling from time to time. It needs someone to smack me upside the head and go, nope, you're not too big for your britches. Get back down here. Get off that pedestal. And when you don't, or when they don't listen, it creates problems. I'm not going to mention people by name, but some of you may know some of these people that have channels that are echo chambers, and mine is an echo chamber to some degree. I'm not going to deny that. But I strive to make sure people understand I don't want that. This means that publishers can push out games that are subpar and are going to get immediate ridicule. They can't do that anymore. They fall apart. If they fall apart past a certain point in the game, if they have microtransactions, or if the game is just bad, it's going to get hammer slammed. And then when people look it up on Google, what's the first thing that comes up? Not the game, not the official trailer, not any official videos, some YouTube personality talking about it. Jim Sterling made a career out of reviewing the bottom of the barrel terrible games of Steam. Simply put, the information for a game is out there, and our communities that are gathered around these personalities know it. They will simply search the game and find those who've talked about it, who they relate to, who they can have a conversation with, who they feel like they can respect the opinion of before they decide to buy something. A lot of YouTube personalities, including me, who were around this platform when the platform was only 5 years old or younger even, are now entering our 30s and 40s, but we remember what gaming was like in the 90s. Good ones like me go back and play our Sega Genesis games. I've streamed dozens of Sega Genesis games. Hell, right over there in the cupboard over there, in between all those game badges, is a Sega Genesis with a ton of games, and I've streamed them. But this is so I can take off the nostalgia glasses and I review those old games, trying to take off my nostalgia glasses to make sure that what I review today stands up to my experience with those older games. The point here is, to game companies, we can be a true blessing, selling dozens of copies of games and producing additional revenue, or we can be a heavy-handed curse. Subnautica would not be nearly as big without Markiplier's screaming. Armored Warfare has lost so many people like me, personalities who did so much content for that game, that it virtually gets no attention now. And the very little attention it gets are from people who feel like they don't have anywhere else to go yet. World of Tanks functions so well today because the Mighty Jingles and Quickie Baby, where Cloud Pirates will never see the light of day, and it was closed down before it even finished closed beta because they failed to win people over who would show it off and give interest that would make the game matter. MechWarrior Online is making a comeback because of MechWarrior 5 coming out in September and the recent release of the Battletech game by Harebrained Schemes. But if they want this success to continue, they need to cultivate streamers and personalities into making content for their game, and they need to listen to our communities around us, since we get a ton of feedback and then examine the game for ourselves. From there, think of us less like a gatekeeper and more like a filtering effect. Someone tells me LRMs are overpowered. So here I go to experiment and figure out how LRMs are overpowered and then show it in a video. And then show people how to counteract the LRMs. And then the game developer sits there and goes, huh, that's not supposed to happen. Or, no, that's exactly how we designed it. One of those two things happens. And so now I filtered out hundreds of comments screaming about something being overpowered and given the game developer a clearer picture, both through video and my reaction, and they can read my community's reaction in the comments. That is proper management, using us as filters to understand how to improve your game. Just remember, YouTube personalities and streamers we have to stake our reputations on our word, on what we show on the screen and what we say about what we show on the screen. Mine has some holes in it. I'm not even going to argue. But I'm human. I try to be as honest as possible about how I feel about things and give people raw information. If you produce a bad game, we will tell our communities and your sales won't exist. Your game falls apart at the end because of rushing and crunching, and we tell them it's not very good towards the end. I like this part, and then for some reason the end just started sucking. Your game is amazing, but it only has a few bugs. We'll tell people, hey, here's the bugs, but hey, this is still a good experience. You can also earn our forgiveness. I originally was doing MechWarrior Online, and then they started doing supply caches that required mech currency, the paid currency for the game, to open a loot box. They turned those supply caches into a game reward now. You can't purchase them, you can't get them any other way than playing the game, and you require nothing to open them. It's just a free, here's a thanks for playing our game for an extended period of time, and it accumulates over days. So if you don't get one today, you'll get one tomorrow. Their loot boxes are no longer loot boxes. They are a prize pack for playing the game. I stopped streaming Star Trek Online because they started moving things into the loot box only system rather than the system before where I could purchase the thing I wanted instead of buying hundreds of loot boxes and having to keep opening them to get what I wanted. Because of this and my agreement with you that I won't do any games that have a gambling mechanic as a part of it. without sufficient resources to make it where the gambling mechanic is not necessary or you can bypass it, I stopped streaming Star Trek Online. Because that gambling mechanic is now removed from MechWarrior Online, I can stream it again and endorse it. This is an agreement I made between the two of us. It's one of the reasons why some people don't agree with my Azure Lane review, because they're like, oh, it's the best gacha game there is. That's nice. I still said that I would not completely endorse any game that had gambling mechanics unless there was an alternative to the gambling mechanic in which real-world money is involved. So that is my biggest criticism of Azure Lane, is I wouldn't care, by the way, for Azure Lane's example, if it cost me 300 times what it costs a single roll on the ship constructor to buy a specific vessel. Or if they at least had a schedule of their Medal of Honor system for retiring ships, for when specific ships would be available. I'd be fine with that. But they don't have that schedule, and they don't have the ability to purchase something directly that I want at any time for a fee. Or for a large accumulated amount of in-game resources would be the preferred method. Now, game developers, if you listen to us and you sit down and use this as filters, your game will improve. We will not only reward you for improving, but we will keep sponsoring and showing your game off. If you treat us poorly or give us special treatment above your community rules, guidelines, or your paying customers, it will always bite you back. It may not be immediately, but it will. Now, if you're interested in a game, if we are interested in your game, you should take the time to respond and reply to us, or at least take a look at what we do. For something as simple as one free copy of your game, even a small channel like mine might sell 100 plus copies of your game. My Steam list for XCOM 2 is massive. The number of people that bought XCOM 2 because of what I did for XCOM 2 is a mile long. There are 54 people on my Steam list who bought that game because of me. When I started streaming XCOM 2, I was the only one on my Steam list that owned it. Now there's 54 people who own it. And most of them will tell you it's because they agree it's fun. And because they watched me, they found out about XCOM. I understand that's only $5,000 for a $50 game. But if I don't stream your game or give it a good review, your game is going to lose that money. And lose even more. Because these are only the people I know who bought XCOM 2 because of my Let's Play series and because of my review of it. This isn't counting the people who didn't tell me or that I don't have on my Steam list who did it because of the things I've done. A good example of this is Fallout 76. I've told people it's not good. Don't buy it. I didn't give a review. It's not worth my time to review. It's that bad. It's like Steam garbage. It's Jim Sterling level garbage. However, at the end of the day, how you handle said streamer personality or game reviewer is up to you. Remember, we're all independent and all of us hold different standards to ourselves. That means when your community manager receives an email from us, you should at the very least tell us you aren't going to send a key and why you chose not to send a key to us. So we can fix this to appeal to your publisher and developer better in the future. All of us are really looking for, I like this game, or at least I think I will. I want to play and stream it for my audience. How do I reduce the cost of this? That's it. So yes, blessed curses we are. I'm not even going to deny it. I am a blessed curse. I can sell hundreds of copies of a game and movie that I endorse while dooming those and resulting them to be panned across the board for sales and earning reputations that the game developer or publisher may not entirely deserve. Yeah, here comes the dark part. If someone reviews a game negatively and the game is genuinely bad, our audiences will know. Not issuing keys to us or review copies in advance looks bad as well. So if the option is release now and risk it, or get the bugs fixed and work on the game for 3 more months, I think we can all agree release later would make the better decision business-wise, even if it costs you more money in the short term. The dark part is, though, is outright slighting or attacking someone like me will result in me giving a negative image back in spite. I'm going to be honest with that one. I'm human. Attacking someone with an ego, like me, who has an audience that they can influence, will result in you losing game sales and you suffering for lack of coverage. On top of that, there are those, I'm not in this list, who will outright lie about a game and create a false narrative. As I said, my own reputation might have some holes in it, but this is one thing that I abide by. If this is my experience, I'm going to state my experience verbatim, as close to what I have experienced as possible. If it's not entirely accurate, I don't know why. But this is what I did. I stream my experiences for my audience, so they can come in and see me streaming it, and then I review it after I've streamed it. But there have been games that I was expected to review within 72 hours, because that's the window the publisher gave me. That means I have to play the game through, do normal live streams that support me and keep the roof over my head, write the review, record the review, do all the editing, and then put it out within 3 days. This seems entirely reasonable on paper till you realize that I spend 6 hours a day streaming when I stream. And I stream 6 days a week. I still have to exercise, take care of myself, and all those other things. That leaves me with 2 hours if I'm only doing work for a normal 8-hour day to look at your game. Per day for 3 days. That's 6 hours. Putting those limited windows on me like I'm IGN or PC Gamer is unfair. I don't have editors or additional support staff. The one video editor I do have is for special videos only, because it takes them 2 to 3 weeks to turn around and give me the video that I record. So this much said, it really boils down to truly understanding the curse and understanding the audiences of the personality as well as the personality themselves. Having a dialogue is a good way to do this. Having community managers who are willing to sit there for 4 hours a day and just talk to streamers and YouTubers and people like me who create content on email for 4 of his daily hours, 5 days a week, is almost essential. Because if you don't, you end up like this. I have received 20 plus simulation games in the last 3 weeks because Armored Warfare now has the simulation tag. I want none of them. I didn't ask for any of them. I don't want any of them. I want nothing to do with them. I asked for a Battlefleet Gothic 2 review key and a Battletech review key. I didn't get a response at all. Nobody replied to me. Nobody talked to me. And I said, okay, well, I'll have to buy the game. I gave Battletech a good review. Battlefleet got the reviews coming out, but my beta experience was pretty poor. And the stream's beta experience with me was pretty bad. Not like Battlefleet Gothic 1, that was worth doing Let's Play videos of all things. It's one of the last Let's Play series I've done. It was worth doing. Obsidian sent me a preview of The Outer Worlds that's still under NDA. I got it right after the Game Awards show, and I've talked nothing but praise and hype for The Outer Worlds since then. Because I'm hyped for it, and I'm hyping my audience for it. We'll see what happens, and I hope it comes out as good as it looks. I hope it comes out even better than Doom 2016. Same with Doom Eternal, which I now see with trepidation because of Bethesda's tarnished reputation. But if we want to get into tarnished reputations, how does PC Gamer and IGN not feel credible anymore? IGN has made major mistakes. One of their writers was flagrantly committing plagiarism, ripping off game reviewers on YouTube to review his games extra fast and get more money out of reviewing them more quickly. IGN made a major mistake on Resident Evil 2 today and are now revising their review. Instead of taking the review down, checking it, redoing it, and putting it back up, they're just revising it. PC Gamer gave Fallout 76 a 60%. A 60. I won't even give it the proper time of day for an actual review. If someone asks me, I think it's trash. Hell, I stated in a video succinctly, this is straight out of the video's script, by the way. If they fixed all the bugs, glitches, and store practices, it would be a good game, but it would never be a good Fallout game. That's a big if. Like, massive if. You wonder where the trust in traditional media has gone and why everyone like Angry Joe can put out a review 2 to 3 weeks after the game launches and get 4 million views. Why I can put out a review of Armored Warfare almost 2 years after its official launch and it get 2,000 views on a tiny channel like mine, where my average view score is 2 to 500. Because our audiences want our opinions and are waiting for them before they make a decision. Giving me 72 hours to review a game and then wondering why I didn't go through all of it, it's not the best move. But so is releasing a bug-filled mess. Y'all cited that influencers were a problem for the gaming industry, and I hate that word so much. It has so much negative connotation with it. It makes me sound like a marketing tool. It reduces me to a gaming marketing tool, and I hate it. Please don't use it. It's destructively bad. And it undermines most everything I stand for whenever I sit here and do a video even like this. But we really are not a problem. We're a blessed curse. Hopefully this has covered everything for you and you understand the why behind YouTube personalities and streamers and media companies in general. Who knows? Maybe a community manager will actually listen to this. That much is up to you guys to make sure someone who has that sort of community management power from your own games you like sees this. I'm not necessarily going to tell you to private message them or anything like that, but the like button is right there if you want this video to get more headlines. And so long as we make 100 likes, comment combination, you'll get the last part of the series. Gaming websites often put their community manager's Twitter and email and contact information on their website. They often also put their actual game profile Twitters and Facebooks and contact us on their website. You want a community manager to understand YouTube and Twitch a little better? I'm not saying send them this video, but why not? Anyway, I want to hear about your experiences. Drop them in the comments. Let me know what you think of personalities like this, both the good and the bad. If you feel like I've made mistakes somewhere, public forums right there. I'm not going to argue. I might argue. Okay, to be fair, I'm probably going to argue with you, but I'm also going to concede your point if you're right. You can ask Von Holtz that one. You can ask Bones that one. You can ask Little Pip that one. You can ask Adagio that one. I concede a point when I'm wrong. Here's the previous one of these videos, and here's the first one. Content like this is supported via Patreon. And there's the list of patrons. Why don't you go have a look? Support this channel if you want. Remember, I'm an ad-free YouTube channel. I don't get any ad money because I don't put ads on my videos unless they're copyrighted by someone else, and then that person gets the money. In the meantime, I'll see all you guys this afternoon for MechWarrior Online, and I'll see you tomorrow for an actual game review of Battlefleet Gothic 2.